Hello everyone and welcome to the joinDOTA League Season 2, Europe Region Division 1. My name is Roxas and with me this evening, or afternoon as it might be for some of you, it is Mito. How you doing, friend?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm very excited to be casting alongside with you.
Yeah, it's going to be our first time. We're going to be losing our... Alright, never mind, I'm going to make any jokes like that. But anyway, so Goomba Gaming and Relax, two quite well-known teams in the Division 1 Europe. Relax sitting at the top currently. Let me double check that. Yeah, they're currently at 11-5. Goomba sitting right in the middle at 4-2. Not a whole lot of games played, so definitely in contention to be taking some games off of Relax, who are quite the powerhouse as we've seen lately. I don't really know too much about Goomba though, so apparently they like to play with.
Team pick.
I have no idea either. I've seen them play from time to time, and I do recognize some of the players like Exist and Nano, but I'm not so sure about the rest. So it'd be interesting to watch how they play.
I mean, they earned their way in Division 1, so they certainly got something going for them. So, bands coming out, going to be Tree and Protector and Bat Rider, pretty standard as well. Tree slowly crawled his way, thanks to PPD and company, into that first pick sort of role, so he's going to be banned out. Relax going to be taking out Lycan, which they would have been giving to the Dire side, and they're also going to take out the Wisp. And Goomba going to pick up Mirana. I don't think I've ever seen this hero picked up.
It's actually an extremely popular hero as of late.
Oh, I was being sarcastic.
Okay. No, I didn't take the hint in your tone.
Oh. Yeah, no, this hero is really, really good.
Yeah, and in just about every single way. It can fit into almost any role. It can be mid, can be played as an off-laner, can be a carry, can be a support, so it does a multitude of things. And Relax, wow, this is like the first time since the, I think, past 3 days that I've seen Invoker being a first pick. It feels like this hero, as powerful as it is, and in the TI qualifiers, has been picked or banned 95% of the time, but I don't know. Maybe this is too much CIS Dota for me, and it's pretty good for me to be able to see Invoker once again.
Yeah, Invoker, I mean, some people will complain about like heroes that get picked up all the time. Like back when Bat Rider and Wisp were like the heroes to pick and ban in 6.78. You know, some people kind of complain because it's less variety, but at the same time, if they're aggressive heroes, there are a lot of kills in action because of them being in the game and being so good, you know, maybe, yeah, it's not perfectly balanced, or you know, not every hero is equally viable, but at least it's fun to watch every time, so. I particularly really enjoyed when, like, Bat, Lifestealer, Puck, Storm, and all those heroes were really good. And it's kind of that way now, and Invoker is one of those heroes for sure. You definitely want to be getting kills with Sunstrikes all over the map, even if you go Quaswex, it's quite aggressive as well. But Relax. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. Indeed.
They go ahead and block pick the Shadow Demon, who's really good in almost any lineup, but they want to keep it from the Mirana. And they go ahead and pick up a Rubik quite quickly, which, I mean, yeah, stealing all of Invoker spells or stealing any of Shadow Demon spells are all very good, but it's kind of telling that they want to pick a hero to prevent playing against a Rubik, maybe a Naga Siren or a Tidehunter or even a Darkseer.
So I would say Shadow Demon not only does it block the Mirana's pick, but also sets up very nicely for the Invoker Sunstrike. However, I do think if you're on the Radiant side, it's not a necessity to pick up Invoker so early, because there are so many heroes right now that can abuse the middle jungle pool, and just having the medium camp and the large camp so close to the mid lane makes it very convenient for heroes like Shadow Fiend that can just rise up to, say, 100 plus last hits in under 12 minutes. And I am very surprised heroes such as like Ancient Apparition, Centaur, Sand King, these type of heroes are pretty surprised that I actually picked up in the first pick phase.
Yeah, but it's at a point where just like everyone's good, you know? I mean, that's a great place for the game to be at too, that every pick along a draft just feels like it's a tier 1 pick that could be picked up in the first phase. So it's a bit surprising, but every team has their own priorities, and they usually have a plan going into a draft. Like, you know, we don't want to reveal our hand. I mean, Rubik Mirana, what does that reveal? It reveals almost absolutely nothing. Invoker Shadow Demon also almost reveals absolutely nothing. So That's going to be the thing. They actually go ahead and ban out the Tidehunter. They ban out the Nature's Prophet as well, fearing the global presence coming out from maybe picking up a Nature's Prophet and a Spectre, or even a Faceless Void works quite well. Even though he himself is not global, but global teammates really help him out a lot. Plus the split push that comes in with an Invoker that goes Quas Exhort with a Nature's Prophet's really hard to deal with. But Centaur and AA, just two big pain in the ass heroes to deal with, going to be banned out. And they'll go and pick up the third pick here.
And what would your prediction be for the Relax?
Well, I really like going aggressive if you have a Shadow Demon. I think Luna is still a strong pick, especially in conjunction with Shadow Demon. Anti-Mage is good. But you kind of decide if you want to be aggressive with him or if you just want to go for late game with him.
5 seconds remaining.
So I think that if you go for a strong carry like an Anti-Mage or a Luna, you kind of force yourself to be defensive and you pick up another support. Or you can just pick up another support that goes really well with Shadow Demon in an aggressive sense, such as Lena or Leshrac. Pair that with something like an Axe, or even... who else is good in that circumstance? I don't know. But I just expect them to kind of lock their draft in at this point and kind of show their hand if they're going to be aggressive or passive.
Mm-hmm. Well, indeed, like Shadow Human is a hero that can be paired up with just about anything. They can still do what Arrow Gaming did against, I believe it was MVP, where they picked up the Shadow Demon plus Naga Siren and the Shadow Priest combo. And just having that surround on whoever gets disrupted, and then using the heal and the minus armor, since like Dazzle, all his skills are physical, so it does a crap ton of damage to whoever's trapped inside.
Yeah, it really... That's a huge pain in the dick, but... Actually, speaking of Shadow Demon Dazzle, you know what I really like to replace with that, if you can get away with it, or say if, like, Dazzle is banned, is actually an Omni Knight. Because an Omni Knight heal with Soul Catcher, it's a lot of damage. But they go ahead and pick up Dazzle. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be aggressive or not. They could. I think Slardar already works very well with this combo. We don't really see that hero very much, but like I mentioned earlier, with the Rubik being picked up nice and early, they're going to go ahead and secure themselves a Darkseer. So maybe they don't really want to pick up a melee case farming against Ion Shell. And if Darkseer just gets out of Disruption, he's just going to get the Surge, so he's going to be pretty safe. Unless Goomba goes aggressive themselves and tries to get a Darkseer the favorable one-on-one.
Yeah, there are simply so many things that Relax can do with their lineup. They can even potentially run the Invoker in the safe lane position, and then pair out Shadow Demon and say, we haven't seen Kunkka in a long time as well. So that could be a combo there. There are just so many things they can play around with. And the same goes with Goomba. They have the Darkseer. So far, Relax we still don't know who their offlaner is going to be. But as soon as that becomes apparent, Goomba can easily switch up their lanes as well. Going for an aggressive trial lane, since you have Rubik Mirana, and if you want to, you can pair up with a Visage. And that
I haven't seen Visage in so long. I love that hero.
I've seen quite a bit of Visage, as a matter of fact, because...
At least in the EU scene, people just quit picking Visage for some reason.
Okay. It's because in the Southeast Asian scene, like especially in the TI qualifiers,
Visage
5 seconds remaining.
So good.
Yeah. They combine it with Tinker, and it's just so potent because you can always boost with travels onto the familiars, and
yeah, they also pick Lone Druid as well, and he can just always boost with travel onto the bear too. It's really good. But
yeah.
So it looks like they're going to do the Shadow Demon Dazzle Axe lane that I had mentioned earlier. So you get the heal bomb into the call. It's really annoying, really hard to deal with, especially Mirana and Rubik are pretty squishy. Darkseer can be pretty squishy as well, whether they choose to do this and have a safe lane solo carry. I mentioned Anti-Mage earlier. He's actually one of the few melee heroes that does really well against a Darkseer if they want to go for that because of the spell shield from Ion Shell. So... Actually, this looks like it's going to be a mid-Nyx Assassin. I was not really expecting that, actually.
Wow, Nyx Assassin. Well, it does match up pretty nicely against Invoker. And just having that mobile ability to be able to constantly gank the opponents, it does put on a lot of mental pressure, especially when you look at Relax. 3 of the heroes are intelligence based, and eventually... Once that mana burn is maxed out and the game goes later, it will dish out a ton of damage. So it's looking pretty good.
Relax is going to think that's a support Nyx, and I think that support Nyx is okay. So they go ahead and ban out the Dire Side Templar Assassin, whereas Goomba looking for, they actually go ahead and ban out a Doom.
Radiant team.
So I think Luna is pretty strong here. I think that Slardar or Anti-Mage are both good picks as well. But we'll see. They do need a pretty strong carry because the late game potential of the Darkseer Mirana is a lot more than I think most people will give it credit for. And you've already drafted an Axe who doesn't really scale very well if he doesn't have that great of a laning phase. Which, I mean, he should. He's set up for success, but it's always good to have a plan B.
Yeah, definitely. But I do like the offlaner on both sides, because should the lane become too rough, you can always go back into the jungle, catch up farm, and wow, it is going to be a Spectre as you predicted. This is going to be pretty big.
Yeah, Spectre, incredibly good carry. The thing that's going to be kind of a pain in the ass for her is she's going to get spiked Carapace every time she haunts. So that's going to be a little bit annoying, but at the same time, this is a carry that's going to take it very late. Going to be able to certainly out-carry the Mirana, and it's going to have a lot of heroes making space for her for sure. And
remaining.
I don't remember exactly which team it was, but whenever they ran a Spectre, I think maybe it was Scythe. Like whenever they had Miracle on Spectre, they always made sure to give him the kills from the haunts just so he got really fat really quickly. And they kind of just ran around like a four-man death ball, just kind of finding the fights for her. So we'll see what the style is, but I really like that hero. And they go with a Troll Warlord on the Dire side as well. And that's a hero that we saw Fnatic run with like unkillable Godzilla Sven the other day. But I think this hero is coming back, and I really like him.
Yeah, I like the buff to the Wild Axis. It feels like without the cast, the initial casting animation.
It was actually a reverted nerf. So some people think it's a buff, but in 6.79 to 6.8, he got nerfed, and in 6.8 to 6.81, that nerf was removed. So 6.81 troll and 6.79 troll are actually just the same. Getting in your head. I mean, the biggest problem with troll has always been like, where do you lane the damn thing? And, Relax didn't pick any particularly strong laners that are going to get very active early after they get a little bit out of the laning phase, such as Puck, such as Storm. So, troll's going to be able to match up with the Invoker just fine and be able to do enough for his team. So we're going to have the pause. Every Dota game has to start with a pause.
And I think it would be a pretty good time for us to introduce who's playing what. Wouldn't you say?
I don't really like to do it during a pause, Like the game is pause thing is always in the way, I like to...
okay. Entirely up to you, I suppose.
I always see them in action when you introduce them. Normally to kill time, I just like zoom in on their cosmetics and be like, ooh, look at Nier's face. The Rubik face. Or wait, look at Mirana's mount. But
yeah, but with the game pause like right in the middle of the screen, it just feels like you can't really enjoy the cosmetics as much as you want.
It goes away if you go into cinematic mode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Oh, wow. 92%. Who are the 8% of teams that are dumb enough to ignore him? Come on, man. Blazing out across a dark sea of ignorance. So it looks like we've got the go-ahead. We're just waiting on them to decide that they want to go. Okay, we just had Yoki. Okay, well now Goomba needs a sec, so it's fine. Just discussing your plans. You're like, all right, you're buying courier. All right, I already got a courier. Let's not get a second courier. All right, I want Poor Man's Shield. I need Tangos. Make sure you give Tangos. So, I guess there's nothing really against the rules about it, but it's still kind of annoying,
Yeah, indeed. Well, how do you think the teams are going to lane? What are your predictions?
Rubik is already heading towards top, so I think that they're going to go aggressive here and try to get a 1v1. I think if Darkseer... Well, I think really they're just trying to dodge. Oh, wow, Jesus, Batrider's really good. But if Darkseer's against the lane, he can still get farm. He can Ion Shell on the creeps. He, as long as he doesn't get called, can still surge away, and he's near the jungle, so he can always retreat to the jungle pretty safely from the safe lane if he is in trouble. And if it is an aggressive trial, they're against like a solo invoker or something, then that'll be fine as well. I think they're just going to try to dodge and put the invoker safe, or the Darkseer safe.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they do run the Darkseer in the safe lane, and the Axe is most likely going to head top, in this, so you're assuming that Axe is going to be by himself as well, right? Or
he could be in a tri-lane, he could be in a dual lane, but you can't really leave the Spectre alone, so I think they might just try to run dual lanes initially, maybe like Axe Dazzle. Or no, they're actually just going to run a pure off-lane Axe, it looks like. But anyway, let's go ahead and introduce the players. On the side of Goomba, on the safe lane Darkseer, we're going to have Chill. On the carry, on the Mirana, it's going to be Penguin, the stand-in. Nino will be playing the support Nyx Assassin. Nier is going to be playing the support Rubik, and doing a cool dance is the stand-in Exist on the Troll Warlord. Would you like to introduce Relax?
Yeah, no problem, absolutely. So we're going to have Relax Dread playing as a support Dazzle, and we're going to have Win X playing as a support Shadow Demon, and in the carry, playing as a carry in the tri-lane is going to be Yoki. At mid, we're going to have Take My Wild playing as the mid solo Invoker, and finally at top, we're going to have Shaklo playing as the off-lane Axe.
Yep.
So Goomba, they do decide to run this aggressive tri-lane, and how do you think these lanes, who are they going to favor? I have to say the top lane, I feel like Darkseer is going to have way more of an advantage just running those Iron Shells and being able to pull camps and just farm like additional gold from the jungle as well as the lane.
Yeah, I think Darkseer will certainly have an edge in that lane for sure. As far as the bottom lane, I think I would give a slight edge to maybe Relax. I know that Spectre obviously has like no laning presence, but just Shadow Demon Dazzle are incredibly good. So even though there's a Mirana, I mean, Rubik and Nyx, both of their spells are quite high mana costs. They can't really do a whole lot with them. And Yoki, he should still be able to get some CS, because it's only a 2 range lane, and he does have a Stout Shield. Go ahead and levels up Spectral Dagger first. Probably going to go ahead and get at least 1 level in Desolate just to prevent the range harassment. But I think I would favor overall just Goomba in this laning stage.
Mm-hmm. But I think Yoki should have a pretty easy lane. Like, sure, he's not going to get much last hits, but he should be fine just staying around. Because, after all, the initial right clicks from a Mirana isn't that high, and Yoki is starting with a Stout Shield. And once he does learn the Dispersion, just 1 level in it, it just gets rid of so much damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if Yoki decides to skip the Vanguard and go for an early Poor Man's Shield, that has 100% block proc against hero attacks, so that'll help out a lot. Or, conversely, getting the early Ring of Health for a Vanguard is going to negate most of it.
Yeah, and overall, the scoreboard is already 4-0 in favor of Goomba. So
yeah, absolutely. It looks like it might even be a 5-0 pretty soon, Chill. He's got the Ion Shell on. He was body blocking as well. Sunstrike's going to be off the mark. Going to be able to get a little bit on Chill, but Chill now gets a solo kill onto the Axe. So Goomba off to an incredible start in this lane, or in this laning phase.
They've gotten kills in every single lane. Wow, this is a little
Battle
much
Trance mid lane, Tame My Wild. See ya. At this point, you just farm the jungle with Forge Spirits, man. Like, he's level 9, you're level 6. He's gotten 4 solo kills on you.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
I mean, it's just not very smart to contest against Exist at this point, especially with the DD rune. Wow.
Well, and when you don't go Quas Lex, like, what you want to do, oh my gosh.
Radiant structures
Looks like we're going to see bottom lane. Win rate 50%, 4 picks. Might be 60% after this game. Oh my god, Tame My Wild, why did you go back? He's going to salve up. But Exist, he can dive. He's totally fine to dive. He has ranged axes. He doesn't have any ball charges. He has phase boots as well. Whirling Axe is going to miss, so he's not going to dive past the tier 2. But come on, man. In the meantime, also, Axe went down in the bottom lane. They tried to get something done there, but they weren't. Chill came down there as well. He's already got a headdress and a chainmail, so he's very well on his way to that mechanism.
So right now the axe rotates bottom, but simply couldn't make anything happen. I think he should just focus on his blink dagger. With the mobility coming out from Goomba, like just having the surge from the Doxia, and having the leap from Mirana, and all those backup plans like the Nyx Assassin with the Impale as well as Spike Carapace, it's just gonna be really hard for him to run straight up to those heroes and try to use his call.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, I guess like you just kind of do like the Wraith King sort of thing where you jump in and like, you know, maybe you die, but it's not the biggest heal in the world. But still, you don't really want that from your axe. And Yoki, he's actually given up on the bottom lane. He's gone top to try to farm. Nino's gone there to try to get some CS as well. And their jungle's going to be taking over. This bottom lane's going to fall soon. So, Goomba going to be way ahead in the laning phase, which is really going to help them because they do need to get things done against the Spectre.
Yeah. And Doxia, just looking at his farm, he's actually not too far away from his mech. It should be around a 12-minute mech, and wow, with the ultimate battle trance coming out of Exist, this tower is just going to crumble. And instead, Relax, they shift all of the heroes to top, and it seems like they want to get a tower of their own, but TPs are coming in.
Yep, TPs are going in, everyone coming top. Looks like, well, oh wow, never mind. There was a call, but Shockwell, you might be in trouble. There is a grave. Oh, he doesn't have time to get it. Dread, he's going to have to use the grave on himself. Exist has already given up on him. He's going for the chase. Windex throws out the disruption as well. Chill, he gets a double kill. Windex has to TP out as well as Yoki. He goes bottom lane. In the meantime, Tame My Wild, he's just trying to farm up the hand of Midas. At 10 minutes, he has Gloves of Haste and 350 gold. Are you kidding me? This is a lineup that has a Roshan advantage, and they have a Troll Warlord, and they can take fights with Moonlight Shadow. This is not a game where you want to start losing map control out of the laning phase.
Indeed. And it looks like the last tier 1 tower for Relax is going to go down pretty fast.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And this is the thing about Spectre, is just the items she needs to come online are quite expensive. She needs either a Vanguard and a Diffusal, she needs like a 4-man shield and a Radiance, or, you know, drums as well sometimes. Like, you need maybe drums and a Yasha and phase boots. Like, all of that's around 5 or 6k gold. And I just really don't see her able to get that. Plus, also, Exist is going to be going for a really aggressive build. It looks like he's going to be going for a Sanj and Yasha to maybe disassemble later into a Manta Halberd. So his chasing potential is going to be ridiculous. Look at him go on to Shockwell. There's going to be a Sunstrike to follow up. He's going to hit Exist, but Shockwell's going to go down. Exist is going to live on a little bit of HP, about 140 there in the bottom lane. And not too much is going on.
Yeah, I just think the Spectre pick was a little odd, because when you look at Goomba's lineup, it kind of just feels like they have the Miran, they have the Rubik, and if you do pick up such a late game carry, it just feels like it was almost a guarantee that you're kind of forcing Goomba to go aggressive. Because in a farm war, you know the Mirana can never contest against Spectre, should the game ever go late.
I feel like picking up a carry that, like, you know, maybe they can't get too much CS in lane, but at least they can stay alive. And if, I don't know, I come back to Anti-Mage just because if you get him solo lane against the Darkseer and you run an aggressive tri-lane, like a tri-lane with the axe, easiest game of your life. Like, but I don't know, Spectre's popular, and I think it was an okay choice, but they knew that they would have a disadvantage in the laning phase. They thought they could work around, and you know, Goombas just played to their strengths. Speaking of playing to their strengths, Yoki might be in a little bit of trouble. There's also Chill, he's coming in. He's just got a surge. He just finished his mech. Actually, Moonlight Shadow's been popped defensively. Wall vacuum catches 2. Dread's going to pop the grave on himself. Windex is trying to not walk through the wall. He might die to right clicks and creeps as well. Yes, he will. Chill gets a kill as well. 11-0 currently for the boys of Goomba. And Invoker, maybe he'll finish a hand of Midas at 14
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, it's not even about that anymore. It's like, relax, they don't exactly have a lineup built around tower defense. And Goomba, they can just continue pressing that advantage because, well, towers are just going to go down one after another.
Yeah, that's the beauty of... God, I just love this hero, man. Battle Trance is such a good ability. It's like having Centaur except with move speed, you get attack speed, and It basically just turns everyone on your team into a carry. Speaking of which, he's going to be turning himself into a carry. He's going after Tame My Wild. The Cold Snap is there, but Telekinesis is there as well. He managed to steal Cold Snap as well, so we're going to see a little bit more control coming out of the Rubik. And goodbye your jungle, goodbye your map control, and honestly, this is not a comeback team. Yeah, you want to fight and try to make sure that, there's going to be some errors. Maybe you get some good team fights and you start coming back, but I don't really see this game looking different in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and if we look at the goal graph, the gold and XP advantage are both 10,000 roughly, and it's just going to keep going that way.
This is why heroes that are so good in lane are just the most popular right now, because people have gotten so good at just exacerbating any advantage that they get in the laning phase. And just taking that lead and just running with it. So it's kind of the laning phase isn't the whole game, but people just make it so that it is the whole game. And if they win all their lanes, they systematically, they'll go all right, we won our lanes. Tower here, ward gank here, tower here, pick off here, tower there, Roshan, tower here, break base. It's just so routine. And with this troll, look how easily this Rosh goes down. Jesus Christ.
Well, it does kind of come down to the lineup as well. Relax, they came into this game losing all 3 lanes, so that was never gonna help. But let's imagine for a second if they did, say, win 2 out of 3 lanes, then the game would have looked much different.
Yeah, you would have Invoker and the Axe making a lot of space for Yoki. But I don't know, man. Even if they won 2 out of the 3 lanes, he's on Quas Exhort Invoker, which is pretty passive in its own right, minus just sending out Forge Spirits to split push and sending out Sunstrikes. It's not like a Quas Wex Invoker where you build an Orchid and just walk around invisible really fast trying to gank people. So, yes, I think it would have looked different, but really not that much different. It's going to be a bit of a convergence top lane. Ward is dropped from Nino. Pops a Vendetta as well. Looks like he's going to be going for Tame My Wild. He gets a Vendetta, gets the Impale as well. There's going to be Chill. He comes in with, oh my god, perfect vacuum wall on 3. Axe is going to go down as well. 15-0. Relax is still not on the board. And yeah, they just call it. I don't blame them at all. So it looks like we'll be going into game 2 with Goomba taking a very quick 1-0 lead. Alright everyone, that's going to be it for us for now. We're going to be right into the lobby for game 2. It'll just be a couple of minutes. So it'll be this is just a 2-game series, best of 2 if you will, to determine the group status in the round robin. So we will see you in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.